Places, please. Places for the top of Theater Countdown.
Hello! Curtains up! Light the lights! It is Theater Countdown. I am a massive theater enthusiast. That's why I'm here. I am Michael Judson Barry, also known as Juddy here, with my best Broadway boon buddy, Ben Cameron. Hello, darling.
It's you, and we're together, darling.
It's us. 1 + 1 is 3.
Yes.
The other thing is just our great love of theater.
Whatever we do, we're gonna count down it together.
You're so good at these. The little intro moments.
Why did I waste that? I should have saved that for the next episode.
No, you gave it to me because you feel bad. Because you're like subconsciously, I think you were like Michael struggles with this. So let me just help him out a little bit.
It's the least I can do.
Thank you. But I'm so excited. We were just talking about last week's Broadway covers because since recording last week, I went and listened to all of the Weird Al Yankovic Hamilton cover and the Little Richard I Feel Pretty. And I made a friend listen to them in the car with me. I'm just so grateful for you. I'm always grateful for you, but especially in that moment. Yeah. Those songs in their entirety are just chef's kiss gold.
It's interesting that what I'm drawn to when we say top cover, I'm just drawn to the completely insane. Like, what is it that we couldn't possibly believe exists?
Yeah.
And has value of some sort. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily like it's camp value, I guess, is where I'm really steering on some of these. But did you get a chance to listen to any more of that West Side Story album?
I did. I listened to a few other ones.
It's just
Aretha Franklin.
Divine.
There's some amazing songs on there.
Yeah, they did us good when they made that album.
They really did. I really loved it. I have a long drive coming up, so I'm just going to listen to the entire thing. I'm sort of saving it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Delay your pleasure.
Yes, exactly. But so we're gonna do more covers today, and we have a fabulous guest.
A guest.
We have a guest again. Grace Aki will be joining us.
Grace Aki knows what's up, man.
She 1,000% does.
Power.
Creator of the Arts Insider. And friends, if you're not following the Arts Insider, press pause real quick, hop over to Instagram and follow them.
What are you even doing with your life?
Exactly. What are you doing? All your best Broadway news, Broadway insights, really fun Broadway creators. So I'm so excited to have her on and to hear what she has to say, because if anybody knows Broadway, especially the current, scene, it is Grace.
Ooh. And that's right. Scene is the word to use when describing the current state of Broadway. What's the scene?
What is the scene?
What's new on the Rialto?
Oh.
Did you hear
Sideways baseball hats is what's new on the Rialto? Because friends, you can't see Ben right now, but
if you watch this on the YouTubes, and I hope that some of you do, and I know that some of you are because I've met you and I love you. I look like I'm auditioning for Sandlot the musical as the non-threatening, quirky best friend.
Mostly because the baseball hat that is currently sideways on your head is from the Cher show.
It's from the Cher show.
Cher, I'm auditioning for the Sandlot.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. I've got my hat on sideways. That's how you know that I'm kind of a punk.
Listen, if she can be all the Jets in a West Side Story, she can absolutely be the cast of the Sandlot the musical.
Because I feel like we didn't discuss that when we talked about that West Side Story album. Was the Cher one person West Side Story? Did we talk about that?
What can we say about it except that it must be seen to be believed? It's Cher playing all the roles in West Side Story. But do you think that, Juddy, might account as part of our countdown of singular live performances?
I think so.
I would count that.
Yeah, and right? Oh my God, the Celine Dion Cats and Cabaret.
And Cabaret. She gives too much.
She does. I actually looked for my list because I wanted to put Celine Dion's Memory on my list because it's great. And she never recorded it on an album. She just got dressed up like a cat and filmed it. So it's only on YouTube, which at least it exists somewhere.
Absolutely. But I think that, once again, we can dive into that when we do that, because now you're all going to demand
that list. I mean, that's sort of like, what would it be? Our top 10 YouTube rabbit hole moments or something like that.
Sure. Oh yeah. Top 10 musical theater rabbit hole moments. YouTube rabbit hole. That's a good one.
Like, what made you actually like stop and watch the whole thing on your deep dive into your rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Oh. Phrasing.
All right. Phrasing. No, phrasing is so important as a storyteller. I find it's so. Students of the theater, really, phrasing is so key.
Yes.
I gave this a teachable moment, didn't I, Pop?
Yeah. Look at you go. My goodness, we learned something here on Theatre Countdown. And if people would like to learn something else, it's where they can follow us on the social medias. What are we again, Mr. Cameron?
I'd love to tell you. We are at Theater Countdown, theater with an R-E, because we're a sophisticated, worldwide bunch, except on X, formerly Twitter, where we're Theater Count, because ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, that felt really good on the side. That felt really good on the sideways hat. Ain't nobody got time for that, mister.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. And, of course, we're on all of the social medias. And if you like us, if you really like us, by all means, become part of our family on Patreon. Get bonus episodes. You can watch us record live. You'll be invited into the studio. You'll also get bonus episodes and meetups in the cyberverse with Juddy and myself. So join us on Patreon and subscribe. It's so cheap, it's stupid. So, I mean, what can I say? We're going to brighten your day in so many more ways for the tiniest pittance.
Exactly. Yeah. But a humble pittance. What?
Great. But also...
what?
Rate and review us, right? You've got to rate and review us. And here's
Leave
what's
us
really
stars.
exciting. But we got stars and we got a review.
We did.
And we need to read it now.
We do. I'm sometimes literate. I can do this. We can do this together.
Where is it? I know it came in, but I don't know. Since T-Mobile has let me down and I have no phone to speak of.
I don't know how you're surviving.
Well, look at me. I'm not. I'm devolving, that's for sure. It's the devolution of Ben without his phone.
It's one of those things that people are like, it would be so refreshing to like not have a phone. And then when that actually happens, as you can attest, it is deeply frustrating.
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm okay with not having a phone for a couple of days to like not doom scroll and that sort of thing. But when it comes to like work stuff, my goodness gracious, what am I to do? Does anybody, where is this thing that we have to read? Does anybody know?
It's in the chat. Our lovely Teresa, our guardian angel, who watches over us. Who, before we record anything, I say, "What are we doing?" and she tells me. So special shout out to the miracle worker that is Teresa.
Yeah. and let's face it, Juddy, you and I, we pretend to be really busy all the time.
Oh. But I just took a 15-minute nap to meditation music. Like...
Oh, I didn't. I've been editing Broadway sessions videos and setting up rehearsals.
You are busy. I just move quickly from place to place. What am I doing? No one knows. I don't really know. But I cover ground. You actually have many a thing going. You're hosting so many things. You're hosting this. You're hosting Broadway sessions. You're hosting movie things.
All the things.
Do you have the review?
I see it. I'm so excited about it.
Yay!
For this review. Here it goes. Should we give you a style? It's 5 stars.
I know.
That's true.
I mean, this person said y'all, so maybe this is a southern accent. Should we each do a southern bit? I'll take the first half and then you do this top 5 moment.
Soups.
Okay, great. Hi. Okay, this is from Alicia on Instagram. That's not her name, but that's where she found us, and that's where, she said she's on Instagram, so that's cool. Hi, I give y'all 5 stars and 4 exclamation points. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. I found y'all from your sister show, Disney Countdown. I loved your crossover episode with Danielle and Megan. I really enjoyed your podcast. I don't know much about musical theater, but listening to y'all makes me feel a bit more accessible, as I normally feel intimidated by it.
Wait, pause. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
That actually is really
it
sweet.
Makes it feel more accessible and feeling intimidated by it. Oh,
I know, because it is. Broadway can be a little, and not to knock musical theater people, but sometimes they actually pride themselves on that. So
we're really
it's
just a bunch of lunatic nerd people who decided to play pretend for a living. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome.
We
Okay,
literally
keep
play
going.
dress up.
Sorry.
I normally feel intimidated by it. That last one I listened to was, who would you like to have lunch with? I absolutely loved both your lists. Thank you. I was excited about those lists. I hope you went home and watched Tallulah Bankhead videos.
I would say so. Because Alicia says my top 5 would be the last one we listened to. Yeah, great. Well, would be she's sharing hers, which is what we want. William Shakespeare eating meat and potatoes. Taz Burgess having coffee. Dick Van Dyke eating pie.
Ooh.
The Dames, which was you brought the Dames at a formal tea service, and the Chums, which you also brought up, was having a buffet of desserts, which is what I want life to be. If you think about it, this is no longer Alicia saying, this is just my point of view. Life should be a buffet of desserts. Both of you have fantastic energy. I've already added you all to my Monday podcast playlist. Thank you both for your wonderful podcast. That's Alicia on Instagram. And
yay!
Imagine when we find out she's from Baltimore.
I know, she's not Southern at all.
She's from Wisconsin, and we've decided to put her in a production of Big River.
Maybe in Douglas Lyon's new film version of Big River.
New film version, which we demand. So, Alicia, please forgive our accents, but
if they're not accurate.
So much for your review. It's helpful.
Yes.
It's help us spread the word. It makes us feel good and gives me a little boost in the butt to keep counting down.
Yes, and I gotta say again, it's so nice to hear that we make this feel accessible, which is and I love this top 5. I love all of these. William Shakespeare eating meat and potatoes. Sign me up.
Yum 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 yum.
Nom, nom, in iambic pentameter. Nom, 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 nom. Perfect.
Oh my gosh, how hilarious. I'm very excited that Death Becomes Her is coming to Broadway. They just announced that. And they barely got off the ground in Chicago. Is that where they are?
Oh,
Chicago?
Really? Yeah.
Wherever they are out of town. And immediately they're like, and we're going to Broadway. They'll be at the Fontaine, which is where Sweeney was. So that's exciting stuff. Because that just cleared out.
Yeah. I'd watch Jennifer Simard and Megan Hilty read the phone book, let alone like be in Death Becomes Her. But 2 of my favorite Broadway actors.
Campy. That's the musical you want, because you eliminate the risk of trying to play this as a serious piece in any way, shape, or form, because it's already a really campy movie.
Yeah.
So
I did see a thing. I'm curious to see the ending of it, because Goldie Hawn came out and talked about the original ending of the film that they had that she liked better. And then audiences didn't like it, so they changed it. But I'm wondering, because the musical has a chance to obviously play with it, because Death Becomes Her, I assume. Great movie. It ends with them arguing, falling down the stairs, breaking apart. And you're like, well, these two are just going to be bickering for eternity.
For eternity,
yeah. And it was very silly and fun to watch them sort of shatter. She said the original ending was they were in this sort of like fabulous like villa somewhere in Europe. I think she said it was like Italy, looking gorgeous. Like they didn't age the way they did in the movie. They didn't turn into like Skeletor people. They looked stunning. And they're sitting next to each other. They have no friends because everyone they knew is dead, and they hate each other. But they're all each other has. And they look down and they see Bruce Willis, and he's really old, and he has moved on, and he's found somebody he really loves, and he's happy. And she was like, and it's us just like looking at everyone else in the world aging, and they're happy, and here we got what we wanted, but we're stuck with each other, and we're miserable. And that's how the movie ended. And she was like, I loved it, because she was like, I thought the message was stronger, but it was really dark, so audiences are like, So I'm curious with the musical to see how they go with it. Because I have not seen, obviously, this production in Chicago. So Anyway,
Fascinating.
that's my little ramble about that.
I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Yes.
All right, we've chatted enough.
We have.
This twosome's got to be a threesome. We already said that's the math for us.
1 + 1 = 3, and that's because the great Grace Aki is about to grace us with her presence.
That was very graceful.
Thank you. No, thank you. You would know because you're a dancer.
Yeah, well, I also love wordplay.
You're and Carol Channing. Okay, I, for one, am so excited for our fabulous guest today. She is an actress, a writer, but also a Broadway marketing genius, founder of The Arts Insider. If you haven't heard of it, definitely check it out on the Instagrams. Yes, she is none other than the absolutely fabulous, many hat-wearing Grace Aki. Grace.
Does anyone still wear a hat? Oh,
Does
hello.
anyone still wear a hat?
Thank you all.
They do, and they're you. And there are like 17 of hats, and a couple of those little visor brims as well. I think that that you wear in Disney World.
Therapist calls it a trauma response, and I call it jobs.
Quote unquote.
And you know what? There's truth in all of that. There we go. I want to use my joke from earlier, which is that we put in a new hat rack just to fit all of your hats in the studio because, my friends, we just recorded half this episode and then lost the recording and we're starting over again. So
yes, so here we are.
Let's do it.
But I'm thrilled because we get to chat with you now a second time over, and you're so lovely that we get to hear you talk again about all of your amazing ventures.
But here's the thing. Grace is a theater professional, and she knows that this audience is here for the first time and enjoying the story for the first time, and we have to be full out every time.
Yeah.
I don't know
no
why
marking
I'm
from
saying
us.
this like I'm schooling you. Never!
No marking.
Never marking.
Especially when you say it like that. Never marking! All right.
No marking, but plenty of marketing. Tell us about... oh, wow.
Wow.
It's not even...
It's grandpa jokes. Grace, tell us a little bit about this incredible platform and community that you've built with Arts Insider.
Yeah, I famously was a performer since 3 and loved doing community theater. I know, I'm like, let's go back to before.
No, I'm into it.
When you were but a tap dancing twinkle.
I simply couldn't tap dance, not until Shrek the Musicale. But when you grow up in community theater and stuff, you're constantly like bringing people to shows, right? And then when I started doing stand-up in New York City, I did even more bringer shows. And as like a person who also loves business and marketing, I've never stopped, even since I was a child, trying to get people to involve themselves in theater in one way or another, whether that's an audience member or what have you. And so that's honestly like developed into how do we in this like content led time and generation, like connect audiences outside of our normal scope to the arts? How do we get them involved? How do we make them feel like they are also a part of this movement, that it is not this price prohibitive thing, that even people that are doing regional or community theater feel connected to the Broadway community in some way besides a slime tutorial. And so it developed into this cohort of content creators and influencers that I feel have a beautiful POV in their own right of how they talk about theater and or not. Maybe they're not even in the theatrical space, but how can those audiences be more involved and be more diverse? So that's the kind of genesis of this Arts Insider program, which also allows for people to actually be paid for their content. I think we talked earlier about the fact that we don't, as agencies and whatnot, expect someone who owns a billboard to attend a show and then say, well, where's my billboard? Like, no, that you have to pay people for their services, and just having them in the room is not enough. And so not often, we love to provide opportunities. If there aren't, monetary situations, like, are there other perks? And so I think that the constant like equity in that space is very important to me as like an artist, a creator, and someone who works on the business side. So that's kind of the gist of it. And it's just so exciting and impactful for me to be a part of this kind of movement. excitement, and I'm very grateful. Thank you for letting me talk about it, because it's very exciting.
It's
The numbers-
really cool. Yeah.
The numbers are staggering when you look at collectively through the Arts Insider community that you've put together. I mean, how many millions upon millions millions of people are we reaching?
There's
It's like-
6.3 million on one platform alone. That's not combining everyone's platforms. And it's only going to grow from there. And you all know, like, even people that have less than 10,000 followers, I would argue sometimes have more impact than someone that has 2 million followers, because
Sure.
those people are dedicated to their base. Like, Ben, when you speak
Yeah.
to something, it's your authenticity and like the people that have gravitated towards you for years
Yeah.
trust you. And so like I would trust your recommendation or your insight more than I would maybe somebody who was paid one time to talk about something one time. It's just
Sure.
it vacillates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and good word. Who doesn't love vacillates?
I
I didn't go to college.
also am a big fan of Vaseline, but we're not talking about that.
No, but it is a classic. So
It is
you can't deny that.
Grace's throne. Just thrown.
Sorry, we love a tangent here. at the
Not my
Broadway
culture, but I do respect it.
Thank you. I feel seen. I shouldn't be seen, and yet I
And
feel seen.
That should be on Vaseline's Yelp review, though. Not my culture, but I do respect
Do
it.
respect it. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's a whole. She always marketing. Always marketing.
Brilliant.
Could you tell us a little bit about beyond that? You're a writer. Your one-woman show, To Free a Mockingbird. Tell us about that and where the inspiration for that came.
Oh God, people die all the time, and I love talking about it.
True.
And I think they're like, I was trying so much to do like stand up in New York City, because I had always enjoyed comedy and like been doing like, I used to be like a youth pastor in my childhood and did Sunday Night Live, where I would do like sketches for like of SNL spoofs for the Lord. And then one day I was
for
like, hold on,
Jesus.
what? They'll hate me. And so I stopped, but and I kept doing it in New York City. And then I found the Barrett group, through like Seth Barish and what they teach and like storytelling. And then I was like, oh, that's it. I love stories and I love like connecting people in a long form format. So I was like, take this UCB degree and shove it. And I started writing this show, and now it's developed into this full length piece, and I'm taking it abroad this summer, and I'm very excited, but I haven't like announced that yet, nor I told all my people that I work around that I will be going to do that. But it's
They know now.
and
It's
I
an
know.
exclusive.
Out of the bag.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but I'm really
You heard it here
pumped.
first, kids.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun. It's sad, but it's funny, and that's all I got.
Okay. Cool.
Because you know what? All of life is funny. Let's be honest. I mean, the sad, and that's the only way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, that's like, what did Carrie Fisher say about her life, where she was just like, if it wasn't funny, it would just be true.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's, anytime you're dealing with these kind of
Mm-hmm.
heavier topics, like, of course there's going to be hilarious moments that come out of them. How could there not?
yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm going to put you on the spot, because we know you work with a lot of the musicals that are coming. This is the busiest Broadway season that we've seen I feel like I've seen in a couple decades, honestly. I don't think I've seen it this alive and crackling. What shows are grabbing your interest?
I it's kind of a cliche, but like the way, because we just all watched like them sweep the Olivier's, Sunset Boulevard of it all.
Yes.
This production of Sunset Boulevard excites me not only as a person who loves ingesting theater, like just as like a nerd who loves to see, but the fact that young people are so enticed by this production. Do you think that 2 years ago, like they weren't running to see, all due respect, the Kennedy Center production as much as like we were, because we left Stephanie J and Darren, like everybody that was a part of it, it was fabulous and she was unreal. But the way that this is being pursued in this kind of like sexy Newland something, that's exciting to me from like a standpoint of the way that people are clamoring to like see that bootleg of him walking on the street. Like the way people are talking about it excites me because it's hot and it's awesome. And so that really excites me from like a bunch of different angles for sure.
Oh my God.
Gloria Swanson would be so proud right now.
Oh, she
And
eat it
also,
up.
a lot of people had a lot to say about the fact that Nicole was cast as in like she's quote too young, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, the way that we discard women once they reach 35 in the musical theater industry is disgusting. And the way that this show is probably placing a lens on that fact that this woman may still feel forgotten, even as like snatched as she is. Like there might be something to be looked at here. We're in a very like, you know, plastic surgery based, like, you know, front facing society and et cetera. I mean, listen, I'm still working on this level of Botox, but like, I see it, you know, and, I just think all levels of it are really interesting to me.
Yeah, and I 1,000% agree with you on that. I thought her casting was actually really fascinating, and I love it. I love that that's part of the story, this go around.
Well, and sometimes you have to look at things like that and go, it wouldn't be happening at all if it didn't have her, period. So we wouldn't even be able to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I often think about people getting so bent out of shape about the Dear Evan Hansen movie, and they're like, oh, go kill Ben Platt, get him! Kill the Beast. When you're like, this movie of this incredible show that you all love, this story doesn't get to be told on this wide a scale if he's not the one playing the role. That's all there is to it. Full stop. And I've seen some really freaky teenagers in my day, and I don't think that he looks older than them. So,
and that's like, true. There'd be no window to wave.
There'd be no window to wave. Yeah, you'd have nothing to complain about, and then what would you do for the rest of your life? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Grace, can we bring you into our wild world of games?
Yes, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it gets pretty weird, and we have to involve our game master, our game lord, our Sith, our good Sith, Chris.
Cross.
Hello, I am here, and we have a game.
Yay!
I'm not sure if we played this game before. At least this season we haven't played it. It's This or That.
All right.
I don't know. If we have, I don't remember. But we all know I have the memory of a goldfish, so...
well, great.
How's the game played, Chris?
Yes.
I'll give you two theater-related things, and we'll just take turns. We'll go around and just say which one you would rather have, this or that.
Great.
Yeah, all right.
This
Easy enough.
Easy.
Opinions.
Awesome.
We all got
Hard to get those wrong.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Oh.
The first one, we have this or that, understudying a dream role or playing a smaller role in a famous production.
Oh, wow. I didn't think it was going to be deep.
What do you think?
Understudying a dream role or...
I'd rather play the smaller role.
Oh, interesting. Go.
Being an understudy would just stress me out, especially if it's a dream role. I would just like, I don't have the right personality for that. I'd just be I wouldn't sleep.
I may be understudying the dream role for me because then you get to do it. You get to fill that void in your soul, and then you get to go have a nap and not have to do it night after night after night after night, which, you know, if your dream role's Elphaba, you're not doing anything but waking up, going to play Elphaba, and going right to bed, you know, with some Pilates thrown in. Grace, what are your thoughts?
I'm a small role girly. I'm gonna get that laugh in Act 2, and I'm gonna be playing Nancy, Groundhog Day, etc. Like I think that the small role, as a person who got a featured ensemble in Godspell the musical at the Georgia Thespian Conference when everyone else but me had a solo. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I
say small role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Great.
All right, Chris.
Here's the next one. Attend the Tony Awards or cover the red carpet.
Ooh.
I have done both. And
so which did you prefer?
This is gonna shock everybody. This is going to shock people. I think I'd rather just attend. Doing the red carpet at the Tonys is not a joyful experience. What you don't see, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got a chance to do that. I can check that off my bucket list. But it is hot. It is crammed. It is desperate. It is It is hard. It's very awkward when two people are thrown at you to discuss and you don't know who they are. And now you start to feel bad about that. And yeah. So I'd rather just go in and support the show and enjoy it. Because red carpets are really not joyful for me. Grace, what about you?
I'm with you on that.
I've attended twice. And I've worked many a red carpet, but not the Tonys. I have to agree with your insight, Ben. I think that but also when I watched it from the inside, it was so hot last year. My ass, it was a swamp. Like front of me, the bronzer everywhere. Like it was so bad. It was gone. Yeah. So I actually say neither, but I would rather work the carpet because then I could leave and then watch it, like actually watch it, because sometimes you hear things like second in the room and then you're like, who won? Yeah, we can stand or like whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
What you don't know is they press you into these little stockades, and the smaller platforms get pushed to the end of the line. So depending on where you are in the line, you may or may not get to talk to a big star that you're interested in. It's hot because you're on top of like 5 other people from different media outlets on top of each other, and it just feels like you're all trying to grab at people. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
There's the inside story. What do you think, though, Juddy? What would you do?
Oh, I 1,000% with you. I would rather if I had to choose, I would rather just watch than cover the red carpet. I think you're right for all those reasons. It's hot. It's a frenzy. No one's really having fun. People are stressed, and I'm not good at names, so like I'd be the worst red carpet interviewer because everyone would come up and I would just call them all, "Hey, you!" Like except for maybe Bernadette Peters, and in that case I'd be like, "Hey, you!" Like you know. So I not only would I not be very good at it, I don't think no one would be having fun on my little platform. So better just like I'll just sit and watch and be happy. You know, I'll be like, yay for the winners.
I think we get a point because we all agreed.
We do. Great. Oh, we got a ding as well.
Yeah, that must mean something.
You got a ding, too. I provide dings as well sometimes, on occasion. Wow. Let's try another one. Here it is.
Another hat. Ding
Drama
provider.
with a dark twist or a heartwarming musical?
Like that we'd like to go see?
I think probably like to go see. Yeah, we'll say that.
I think I'm a musical guy from way back, but I love a dark twist. I do. I like the messy, dark, freaky stuff in a play. So that's going to be my answer.
I feel like it depends on the mood. I think right now the way the world is right now, I kind of want just like a sweet feel-good musical, as long as it's well done, like a good, heartwarming musical.
You're really limiting yourself there, Michael.
Okay. But yeah, I'm leaning towards just something sort of sweet and some escapism right now.
I generally would agree with you, but I think that seeing a well-written twist right now, like as a new piece, would be like right up my alley. Like, did anyone see Blackbird at the Belasco years ago? That one got me because I wasn't expecting anything, and then I feel like I still think about it. And like, is this a room? Dana H, etc. So I'm that girl. I'm a play girly, so I get it.
Gotcha. And I love a play, and I love a really dark, like well written. It's just I think like I was saying before, I just saw Patriots, and it was great. I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat, and it's long, and it did not feel long, but I was just like sad for like 2 days. And was just sort of also like a little freaked out for a couple of days. That might be also particularly like paralleling our world just in a frightening way. But I mean, goes to show how well done the show was, that it like really affected me. But I was like, now I'm sad. And now I just want to go watch like Kimberly Akimbo and watch somebody be happy at the end, you know?
Where you know the twist from the beginning.
You do.
The twist is implied.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right,
try
last...
one more. Yeah.
Okay.
This one's going to be in the original cast of a musical or revive a classic.
Original cast all day.
Yeah, because then you get to be on the record. Like
yeah,
that. I mean, or you know, you're always counted as that. I mean, you know this very well. I think that's definitely the move. But I will say, in this climate, I would choose the revival because it has lasting power, and then I would get my insurance as an equity member. You know what I mean? So I think that I think that's actually that's the move right now.
Practical cats. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Although if say we knew it was Mia Long running, well, we don't always know, but something fun. Also being in the new one, like you can say you're part of the process, right? And like crafting the show. Yeah. So I think that's where I would lean right now. Ooh, that's an interesting one, Chris.
Listeners, you've got to hit us up and tell us which ones of all of those that you would choose on our social medias, and on Grace's as well. Yes. All right. Well, we've agreed to agree, and we've also agreed to disagree. So it's this and that.
Look at us go.
Look at us go.
Well done, team. We did it.
There's. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Sith.
And we did it. We agreed, we disagreed, we thised, and we thatted. That was fun. Well done, team. So, Grace, remind everyone. Oh, wait, no, we have to do. I almost jumped over your countdown. I was going to be like, where can we follow you and keep up with you? And
I was literally like, and you know what?
The show was. And then I remembered we're just on Theater Countdown. We're not on this or that. That's in my brain. We just became a game show. Welcome to a brand new podcast that I just created. Sorry, Ben, I forgot to tell you.
Called Theater Smackdown.
Theater Berry Smash. Okay, so now the reason that we're here for the countdown. And we are counting down covers. That's what
this is what
my brain just stopped for a second.
This has been since we started this season, Grace, this particular list has been gnawing at me because I don't know that people out there are aware of what is out there in the way of people covering show tunes. It is delightful to me and shocking to me, and I am personally very excited to share what I have unearthed. Mm-hmm. And I'm very excited to see which ones are tickling your fancy, Grace.
Yes.
That's so exciting. I agree. It's such an incredible premise of research that I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I have some favorites, but I generating the 5. I was like, okay, I got to be really smart about this. So I'm interested to hear y'all's takes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start with number 5, your number 5, Grace, and work your way down to number 1. And we do ours later, so you'll hear ours. You won't hear ours now.
I know. I'm so sorry.
So I'm doing all 5 right now. Top 5 down. Oh my God! Okay, nobody make a face.
Nobody make a face. No, we support you.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Right, it's fine. Okay. It's a podcast. They can't see us anyway.
But now that you said that, I'm even more excited.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
These are tough. Trust me. Trying to narrow. You think it's gonna be easy, and then trying to narrow it down to just 5. It's just. It's hard.
Fair.
So. All right.
No, I can say first. Okay. So 5. Starting with 5. I thought that this was just funny because it encapsulates a time in the drama and also in pop music when we used to cover things like Send in the Clowns, top 40 hits from musical theater. The Jackson 5 cover of Corner in the Sky from Pippin is actually really lovely. And yeah, it's so funny to me that it even exists, but listening to it, it's really lovely. It's from 72, 73. And it's just really pure because I think that it is what that moment is. It doesn't differentiate itself. I think you could listen to it in context of the show and be fine.
Do you know this one, Michael?
No, so I have never heard this, and I'm so excited.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely.
So good. I love them, and I love this song. So I don't know how I've lived without this.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is Jackson 5's Corner of the Sky.
When my spirit gets free, yeah. Gotta find my corner. Ooh, of the sky, yeah. Rivers flow
Come on, Michael.
That was so good. Oh my God, Grace, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have to listen to the whole thing. It's so lovely.
That's
Genius.
amazing. How could you
Genius.
listen to that and not smile?
Yeah.
Like,
And it's such a lovely song that I think that when it's in a slower tempo, sometimes I don't enjoy it as much as I could. So this one, yeah, I like it at that pace.
The background vocals are just too good. They're just
Right?
too
They're
good.
like, we all saw Pippin and we loved it.
Yeah. They're it's zany.
My number 4 is Jamie Cullum's "Not While I'm Around" from his 2009 album. Very jazzy. I love Jamie Cullum's covers in general. I think he's a cover master. I think that someone who is good at covers understands the piece itself and then understands their own voice and how to lend themselves instead of being like, I want to sing this song because I like my own voice, because that to me is not a cover. That's not a cover.
Ooh.
I
agree.
yeah. So here's Jamie Cullum.
Harm you, not while
Hot damn.
how
Jamie
many
Cullum.
vowels can you fit into a 2-letter word?
He's so
all of
sexy. There's so many like jazz interludes in that one as well. It's quite long. So it's a good, I think it's a good fit.
Ooh, that's a really good one.
Be really interesting to see where he shows up in other people's countdowns with other covers that he's famous for. Curious.
Curious. Okay, love that. 3, my favorite musical of all time is Hedwig. So I wanted to make sure that there was a cover from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I have an Origin of Love tattoo on my side. Like it's absolutely my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Cool.
And
Okay.
I didn't include Origin of Love, which might be the greatest musical theater song ever wrote. But I did include, this is by Joy and the Boy from 2004. This is Wicked Little Town.
I don't know this one.
I don't either.
Joy.
They
and
have like
Boy.
no followers.
and they're cruel. You learn too late, you used 2 wishes like a fool. And there's no mystical design, no cosmic lover pre-assigned. There's nothing you can find that cannot be found. And when you've got no other.
That's very cool.
I
Again, like,
love that.
Very indie. It fits in their vein of sound. So like you would hear that if you were a fan of theirs, which hardly many people are. They're a very small, like little indie band. But you would assume it's their song, and I really like that.
Yeah. For sure.
So
Well, I am now a fan. I
Yeah.
want to do a deep dive into them right now. I loved that.
yeah, it's really sweet. As you can tell, I'm a very Spring Awakening, Hedwig, American, like that's my little vein corner. So there's that. Now I had to
I
throw
could
a
also-
wrench in it. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, I feel like with that cover too, you could probably insert that into the stage production with that kind of vibology and pull it off within the context of Hedwig as well.
Fully agree. Fully agree.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
So this one I'm throwing a wrench in. We do not need to spend much time on this.
Okay.
Number 2. This was a moment in history. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It's embarrassing, and it's terrible, and it's great. It's Gwen Stefani's "If I Were a Rich Girl."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember when this came out and my jaw hit the floor and I was like, these MFers don't even know what this is. How is she getting away with this?
Yeah.
And people
This-
are eating it up, and she's selling platinum records, and it's "If I Were a Rich Man." What is the world?
I'm not gonna lie, I really liked it too when it came out, and I was just like, I felt
It
like
was a
for
bop.
once I had like the inside scoop. I was like, I know the OG story
But
behind
like
the
I
song.
but she won the world over with it, and no one knew it was from a musical. I mean, of the number of people who know that song now compared to the people who know it's a musical, it's a very small percentage. Okay, let's hear it. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I know. If I were a rich girl, da da da.
But I think it's
jaw's so
important.
sore.
When we talk about covers, we need to have mentioned it.
Absolutely. Because
you
maybe
have to.
maybe the most successful
Yes.
pop cover of a show tune ever, and of a show tune that is the least poppy of show tunes. The whole thing has me in a spin. Well done, Grace.
Yeah.
Thank you. And my
nice.
number one, I truly believe, is the greatest cover of this song that will ever exist. I think the arrangement is gorgeous. I think I'm sensing like a pattern. I really like jazz kind of like indie covers of songs. But this is from Leslie Odom Jr.'s 2014 album. I know I picked a musical theater person, but this is a very like sultry like R&B album. It's not like piano jazz covers. But this is Guilty Ones by Leslie Odom Jr.
Oh. I mean,
Beautiful.
It's just so beautiful. Like, sincerely, I think he nailed the assignment. And when he's done this, I'm just like, that to me is the definitive cover arrangement of that song.
Yeah.
Hands down.
it's done.
Beautiful.
An excellent list. Grace Aki,
gorgeous.
thank you so much for counting down with us. I can't wait for you to hear what ours is involved in.
Yes.
where we might
I
cross over.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
You're a gem of a human. Congratulations on all the hats and all the things that you're doing and the work that you're doing for the community that you believe in and love, and how you're amplifying people's voices. It's really to be commended. So
Thank you. Thank you all again. Y'all are incredible. I can't wait.
coolest of the cool. Now remind everybody where they can find you on the socials.
You can stalk me at It's Grace Aki on all platforms.
Fabulous.
So easy.
And
Rolls off the tongue.
excuse me while I pick up my phone and begin the stalking now. So
All right. Thanks, Grace.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, technology. I'm about to just tip right over like Liza in Arrested Development. Basta!
She can go down at any second.
What was it
be
when
honest.
she was like, I don't need a stunt double. I know how vertigo works. And then she just tipped over and rolled down a driveway. And they were like, brilliant. And no one thought to tell her that that's not how that works.
But if everyone needs to visit Lucille too on Arrested Development as played by Liza Minnelli, because if you thought you liked Liza when she was being a damned world-class entertainer, wait till you see her being a complete buffoon. It's so good. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, Liza on Arrested Development's one of my favorite performances, period. The two Lucille's together.
Yeah. It's too good. It's too good. Anyway,
all right, well,
thanks, Grace.
yay!
That was, we love Grace. We went down to Liza. That's going to happen, people. Just be warned that every once in a while there's going to be a Liza detour, and you should keep your head on a swivel, because
always.
there's no saying if it's when that will happen, and it will happen. Ooh.
Love it. Nice detour. And I just loved that list. I gotta say, I was so glad we ended with Leslie Odom Jr. Another person I would watch just read the phone book. Talk
No
about
shortage of talent there.
Dreamboat. No, none whatsoever.
Eva.
Eva.
All right, so Grace has thrown the gauntlet down. I guess we should do a red hot recap of our top
Oh,
10 through
gosh.
6.
We should. What was my 10 through 6?
That's a
I
great
don't even
question.
remember anymore. Did I write it down?
Of course you wrote it down. All right, I can go first. So my Red Hot recap, as the aforementioned Hamilton Polka took it for me in number 10. Number 9, Diana Ross singing He Lives in You from The Lion King. My number 8 was Frank, old Blue Eyes himself, the chairman of the board, singing Good Thing Going from Merrily We Roll Along, because I just felt like that was written for him. Like that just, it's so bananas good. My number 7 was I Feel Pretty by Little Richard, because what could be crazier? And my number 6 was the Carrie Ellis and Brian May. So I was right about that. It is Brian May from Queen with her on that track.
Oh, cool.
Doing like grand rock and roll stadium anthem version of I'm Not That Girl from Wicked. Those were my 10 through 6.
Fabulous. I found mine. Yeah, my number 10 was not the trio singing the Kennedy Center honors. Ooh, another YouTube trio we should do is the Andrew Lloyd Webber one with Maren Maisie.
Judy Kuhn and Audra.
The Love. Oh my God, yeah. When you sing along to that, which one of them do you sing? Do you feel like would be you?
Who gets
real
to
quick?
Sing Nothing Like You've Ever Known. No, they all sing that. Don't ask me impossible questions. This show is hard enough.
Oh, because mine is Judy Kuhn, hands down. I would
really?
always want to be that track of that trio.
All right.
The I Don't Know How to Love Him. Anyway, I digress. My 10 is starting with What I Did for Love, sung by Mr. Hugs himself, Josh Groban. One day I'm going to get a hug from Josh Groban, and I'm going to be like, I need you to not physically do it, just sing to me, and it will feel more like a hug.
I need it documented is the point. So yes. I don't know how long this interaction is going to be, but you're going to have to find a way to stop time and get a camera in front of that cuddle bear.
It's going to be long, and Josh Groban's going to ask me to leave. Okay, number 9, What Kind of Fool Am I? Sammy Davis Jr., number 8, I Could Have Danced All Night, Shirley Bassey. Number 7, Down with Love, Barbra Streisand. And number 6, Shaboopy from Family Guy. Shaboopy. And the same friend that I made listen to your 2 songs, she also was like, oh, I'd never heard it. Oh, did we not sit and watch all of Shaboopy from Family Guy?
Oh. And did she not marvel at the wonder of it all?
She's not a musical theater person. She was utterly confused, but thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, great. And you know what? If you're utterly confused, Family Guy, I think, feels like they're doing it right. That's what Family Guy is after. They want you to feel confused.
Exactly.
All right. Top 5. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I went first last time, I feel like.
Then I'll go first this time.
Perfect.
Great. My number 5, and this is a surprise even to me, and I came across this quite by accident. This version of this very, very famous show tune that gets this show tune gets a lot of play at a lot of events. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to hear this particular song at a lot of weddings. You're going to hear a lot of funerals.
It's not getting married today.
This song gets around at events that I feel like are probably not the most fun events. So I was surprised that I found this version. I went, oh my God, this makes me love this song so much. The song in question is Sunrise, Sunset from Fiddler on the Roof. But the magic that makes it is that it's Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett does a Sunrise Sunset, and I must have been looking for some covers of show tunes for a game for Broadway sessions at some point, and I came across this. Remember, because I was telling you about, I must have been doing a Fiddler on the Roof night with the Broadway cast at Broadway sessions, because remember I told you about the all-punk Fiddler version that exists out there?
Yes.
So I must have found this around the same time, and I listened to it, and I was like, this is otherworldly. It just elevates the song in a way that it's because I feel like the song can feel like a dirge, right?
Can feel like a dirge. Sunrise,
sunset. Like you want to whip yourself in between each phrase. Sunrise, boy, sunset, bang. With the shame bell.
Yeah.
But Tony Bennett, the great Tony Bennett, takes it to a whole new level, and I want to share it with you.
I'm so excited.
Chris, my fifth.
One season following another, laden with happiness. And
Yeah, Tony Bennett. That's how he's going to do it.
Oh.
The whole thing is
Those
that
arrangements.
lush and that beautiful. It's gorgeous and elevates the song for me in a way that I don't think I would ever like just pop that song on for a drive, but I would pop Tony Bennett singing it on a drive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so, speaking of drives, I'm going to add that to my driving list.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. I love Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 6. So I took, remember my number 5. I'm so sorry. So my 10 through 6, I don't know how to count. Ironic that I'm here. My 10 through 6 were all like pretty standard, like not so wacky, like really nice ones. I think the wackiest one was Barbra Streisand doing Down with Love, which is just a great cover when she was in her I'm Having Fun era. This one, speaking of somebody having an era, Carol Channing went through a very unexpected country phase where she put out multiple country albums.
Stop it right now.
Carol Channing was a huge country fan, and she did one with this guy, well, I can't remember his full name, but one that was just with a big country star, and they just did duets. Then she has another one. This is called Carol Channing and Her Country Friends, an original country cast. And it's all duets with different country singers, but it's a lot of country songs. It opens with one show tune cover.
My mind is blown. I did not know this.
This is great. The whole album is magical when it's her just singing country songs, but she does one Broadway cover because I think she felt she had to, and it is this one. Hit it, Fifth.
Oh my God, we're not even saying what it is.
Hello.
Just wait. Starts normal.
Well, hello, Jimmy.
Hello, Dolly. Hey, bonjour, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. You're looking swell, Dolly. We can tell, Dolly. You're still glowing, you're still crawling, you're still going strong. We feel the room swaying for the fiddles playing. One of your own.
She comes back in eventually.
Here's my hat, fellas. I'm staying where I'm at, fellas.
Promise you'll never go away again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And it continues like that.
Carol Channing in a jug band is the
Yep.
medicine. Is the medicine for the rotten world we live in.
Oh, she's got a song, I think it's called like Louisiana something. She's like, Louisiana and whiskey. Like, it's so strange. But Homegirl loved country. And I think if you love country and Carol Channing, or at least you just love weird alliteration, like this. and again, not one. There's at least 2 Carol Channing country albums. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. I will enjoy. This is the best news. You are a bearer of good news. You're heralding.
I try.
You're heralding good times.
Thanks.
That's absolute bonkers. That's crazy, cray cray. All right. Well, I don't know that I can top that. Number 4. Sheesh. All right. My number 4. I teetered on this. On this because I felt on some level that this was low hanging fruit. And yet, sometimes just because the fruit hangs low on the tree or on the vine doesn't mean it's not the most ripe and delicious fruit to be found. And so, plucked and picked and enjoy it should be. So, I went with it. And that's going to be Whitney Houston and her mother, Cissy Houston, singing I Know Him So Well from Chess. On Whitney's album. And the reason why I think this is important to include in the top 5 is because I don't know that we have access to a full-blown show tune cover experience on a major release, multi-platinum pop album by one of the number one recording artists in history at the peak of their career.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
I've actually never heard this.
to put a show tune in there is what? You've never heard this?
I know.
Whoa. Ooga. Wowza. Okay, well then buckle your
Thank you,
safety
Nathan
belts.
Lane. Okay. You just became a producer. Ooh la, wow. Like
I was Timon and Pumbaa at the same time. And
you
that's
were
the
every
range.
Nathan Lane character.
That's the range
yes.
I have. So what's fun to listen to about for in this is not only A, that it exists, but B, also I kind of feel like Whitney Houston and her mother are both trying to out-sing each other.
I love that.
I find that to be an interesting dynamic. Hit it, Theth. Yeah.
That's
that is on
gorgeous.
That was on a major Arista label, Whitney Houston. It's the same album as let's see. Well, I'm gonna look this up.
Do you think her cover of "I Will Always Love You" counts, since that was written for Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, but for the movie, not the show?
Is very interesting.
Because technically, it was written for a musical, just a movie musical.
Yeah. So that's from her album, that was the self-titled album, Whitney. That's the album that it was on. Which Whitney the album.
I love when we do live in the moment research.
We have from 1987.
I don't know. Okay, that was a good year.
So Emotional is on this album. I Want to Dance with Somebody is on this album. Didn't We Almost Have It All is on this album. All of the huge hits. And I Know Him So Well from Chess. I just think that is wow. There were some business meetings. There were some deals made that got on. But do you hear it? Do you hear them trying to outdo each other? Sister's
yes.
Like, yeah, you may like that, but I made it.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. Another one I need to go listen to the entire thing of. Okay, speaking of low-hanging fruit, this is one I thought you were going to say, and I was so nervous. But then I was like, oh, fun, we would be another same page moment. But I know you've heard this. I know you've seen the music video. It is infamously iconic. Speaking of the great Liza Minnelli. And I think a lot of people, when they heard and saw this, they lost their minds. Because this is Liza Minnelli losing my mind.
Losing my mind.
If you have not seen this video, it is so strange. Obviously, Liza, another great one, covered so many amazing Broadway shows because she obviously is such a Broadway gal herself. But this whole album, which I had never listened to until I went to pick this song. I'd only ever heard this song, this cover of Losing My Mind. All the songs in this album are really strange. I don't know.
Playing with the sync, the synth pop thing. Isn't this?
Yeah.
Isn't this with the Pet Shop Boys?
I think
my
so.
mind.
Yeah. It's just really strange. If you haven't heard it, you're welcome. Here's Liza Minnelli losing her mind.
Yeah, and you will too.
The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind. The morning ends, I think about you. I talk to friends and think about you. And
Yeah, that's good
She's not
stuff.
going right. I just love that it's like she didn't even change the way she sings it. Like, and when you watch the video, it's so dramatic. It's all the lighting and flowy curtains. And...
Oh, it's completely crazy. But kind of to the Whitney thing, this was Liza's most direct attempt to go full-blown mainstream pop music. Because this was not like a song that like we know about it because we happen to be just a little bit gay, but also like had music video, had rotation on MTV, was on the radio. Like this was her big push to be a crossover artist to be like a legitimate, like I'm with the hip with the kids.
I'm a hip pop star, so I'm gonna do "Losing My Mind" from
My mind,
Follies.
but let's not go too far. So, this apple doesn't want to fall too far from the tree, but
No, just a little bit. Just gonna roll a little bit. But I mean, I still kind of love it though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. It's so weird and fun, but I mean, it's still Liza.
yeah. This was on my radar from the moment this came onto our countdown list. So I'm very happy.
This was
that
literally
you
the first one I
included it.
thought of. Like,
Naturally. Obviously. Naturally.
Naturally, yes.
So things get really tough here at the end, and when we're talking top three. But it's time that I delivered on a vague promise that I made in our last episode.
Yes.
So
I'm so excited.
There's so much in my number 3 spot. There's so much that Barbara has given us in the way of popular, like really popular cover. Like, Somewhere from West Side Story on Barbara was a radio hit.
Oh, on a clear day?
These are massive songs for Barbara
Yeah.
Streisand that were in the pop realm. And then, of course, along came the Broadway album. And I want to point out that this was a tough call for me because if you get a chance to listen to the Broadway album, which hopefully you will listen to immediately following the listening of this podcast, her Something's Coming is kind of amazing. She does Something's Coming from West Side Story. Could be, who knows?
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
And it's not show tuney at all. I mean, all of the arrangements on the Broadway album are like pop music of the times of the 80s, early 90s kind of deal. But the one that gets me the cover is Barbara's Putting It Together.
It's
I'm gonna
so
tell you
good.
why.
It's
I'm gonna
so
tell you why,
good.
George. Because not only is it kind of a hell of an actual pop music of the time cover, it's also a radio play. It's also her talking to all the evil producers who are telling her they're never going to love this in Des Moines. That's too why you need all those musicians. You're old, kid. You're washed up. You got to give the people what they want. And so she's constantly in between breaths and the thing. It's a comment on what she had to do to get the Broadway album made while people were when she was at the height of her pop stardom, the 70s, where she was the number one selling female artist. And so she was like, well, let me make this art. Let me make the song about making art be about the making of this art. So she changes all the lyrics to make it about her situation, putting this album together. So it's so kind of on the nose and self-indulgent and beautifully Streisand, and it's a hell of it's kind of a masterpiece.
It really is.
Yeah, so
It's a play in 3 acts.
It is, and I am not afraid of that. I mean,
No.
all she has to do now is march, and I'm on board. Okay, hit it, Seth.
Isn't easy overnight. You're a trend, you're the right combination. Then the trend's at an end. You're suddenly last year's sensation. All they ever want is repetition. All they really like is what they know. Gotta keep a link with your tradition. Gotta learn to trust your intuition. While you reestablish your position so that you can be on exhibit. So that your work can be on exhibition.
I love that moment.
New girl, they tell you till they're blue, girl. You're new or else you're through, girl. And even if it's true, girl, you do what you can do. Bit by bit,
Yeah.
bring it together.
If you're not familiar, you gotta listen to it. It's the whole thing starts with her defending her decision to make this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we listen to the beginning just a little bit? Do we have time just to like indulge me? Like just so you can hear. Like I really hope she put out a full casting call and like auditioned actors to play the mean producers who told her no.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm so glad. Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't listened to this in a minute, and I remember when I heard it when I was a kid, and I challenged myself to learn all the words, all like her words. Oh, I was so proud when I finally did.
Work can be on exhibition.
That moment, the one self-aware moment in the whole thing.
Spent a lot of time working on this.
Look,
I
no one's
believe
going to
in
buy
it.
it. No one.
Well, how can
Nobody in Middle America, anyway. That's for sure.
He's right.
Well, why?
Sweetheart, it's just not commercial.
What is commercial?
It's not what's selling nowadays.
I mean, personally, I
Be
love it. But
nice, girl.
Nobody's into this kind of material.
You have to pay a price,
This
girl.
album needs a hit single we can push.
They like to give advice, girl.
the whole idea is too risky.
Don't think about it twice,
The audience
girl.
won't understand this kind of
It's
thing.
time to get to work. I
Disagree.
Why
Wait
don't
till you
make
hear
better?
it. Like, I just love like
Do
this
we really
full
need this many
like
musicians?
scene, and then they keep picking at it as it goes,
Yeah.
but just like, ugh.
There's a part where she goes, they ask her, do you really need this many musicians? And she sings the next phrase without responding to it. And then she goes, yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's like an afterthought, like you forgot the question was asked and she's coming
Yeah.
back with the answer. Oh, it's
So
too
good. So
Thanks,
good.
Babs.
We could do a whole episode just on that song.
On that song,
Okay.
Top
Speaking
10
of Barbara
one-liners
Streisand.
on that song.
Yes. This leads perfectly actually into my number 3, which is a cover of a Barbara Streisand song, perhaps one of her most famous songs of all time. This is Ella Fitzgerald's cover of Don't Rain on My Parade. I don't know if you've heard this. It is so good. And the best part of it is that this is the only cover I've heard of somebody not singing it like Streisand. Because she covered it when Barbara was still doing it on Broadway. So they hadn't made the movie yet. It hadn't really blown up yet. This is from a live concert Ella did in Germany. It's like Ella live in Hamburg. And one of the best parts is Ella has no idea what the words are. She has a vague idea, but she just kind of makes it up as she goes. And she's Ella Fitzgerald, so her ad-libs are just perfection. At one point she's like, though I'm alone, I'm a gang. But what's also fun is because she's Ella, she like swings it. Yeah, so it's like, because we're so used to only hearing carbon copies of the Barbara version. And it's just so refreshing to hear somebody do a completely different take on it, and before it was even a standard. So anyway, I just love it because it's such a different version of Don't Rain on My Parade, and if anyone can do it, it's Ella and her amazing band. So let's dive into some fabulous Ella Fitzgerald.
I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There's a show in New York on Broadway called Funny Girl. And we'd like to try and do one of the songs that we're so crazy about. And we hope you like it. Rain, rain, go away. Come again to Mother Day. Don't let those raindrops fall. I want to have a ball, so don't rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly. I sit and putter. I've something gotta try. My heart's a
No idea what those words are.
Don't bring a cloud around to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'll march my band out, I'll beat my drums, and if I band out, you'll turn it faster. Hope I didn't fake it, hat, sir. Guess I didn't make it, though I may be the rose of sheer perfection, or freckled on the nose.
Anyway,
That's amazing.
It
Rain,
goes
rain, go
go
away.
away.
That's amazing.
And that's such a fun way to start. And the end, oh my God, when it builds to the ending is just amazing. She's like, hey, 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 world, here I am. Like, it's just so, it's great that she's not at any moment trying to imitate Barbara Streisand. And I feel like the only person in history who did this song before it was always done a certain way. So I just love it. But yeah, there's a part where she's like, doo-doo-doo da da ba dang, one shot, one gunshot, and bang. Though I'm alone, I'm a gang. And you're just like, what? You're just making up words, girl. And
Well, I'm pretty sure that
they're
she
great.
said her heart was a bladder.
Her heart was a bladder. She said, "Life's." She's gonna don't sit and putter a couple of times.
Yeah, she's really concerned about you puttering.
I think this is the same album where she did Mac the Knife also, and she had no clue what the words are, and she literally just goes into a different song. It's like this 7-minute version of Mac the Knife where she just starts riffing, seamlessly sings a completely different song, comes back into Mac the Knife and ends it. And it's just like, Ella, you're the greatest singer of all time.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay top dollar to see Ella massacre and then land the plane.
Exactly. If she was steering the plane that you were on with that window when the windshield cracked, she would have flown it home and landed it. All the windows would have blown out, but you would have gotten home safe.
Absolutely. Well, if she sang, she would have broke the glass in all the windows.
Exactly.
That's what that voice can do.
Yeah.
Speaking of voices, my number 2 is this, once again, real tough here. I think I've talked about this on the show before, and it's one of those things that when I found it, I couldn't believe it. This song has been covered by so many pop artists that it's bonkers, right? Like Neil Diamond does this on an album. Well, okay, great. So Neil Diamond has done it, but there's a lot of other ones out there.
So many artists,
tons
including
tons.
Neil Diamond and Neil
Diamond. Not the least of which would be Susan Boyle.
Ooh.
But not only is this on an album, but she also, this greatest of great singers, also sang this live a lot. There's a lot of YouTube footage of this diva wanting to sing this song. So my number 2 is Aretha Franklin singing I Dreamed a Dream.
Yes!
From Les Mis. And before I make any other comment, we have to just let this wash over you, because this is wow.
Perfection.
Yeah, it's wild.
But there are dreams that cannot be. And the storms that we cannot weather. I had a dream. Listen, when I had a dream that life would be so different. What in the hell is going on today? Yeah, so different from what it seems to be. Life will not kill the dreams that
Okay, I mean, she's going to go on for hours.
I love that the music. We just have to play, because they're like, we don't know what she's gonna do. What in the hell is going on today?
That's it for me. That's what I heard it. I've said Aretha Franklin decided to scream, "What the hell is going on?" in the middle of her cover of I Dreamed a Dream. That's the what the hell is going on is to Aretha Franklin what Shut Up is to Little Richard. It's too crazy for words. But she from the moment that starts, and it's probably 6.5 minutes long.
At least.
It's a really long cover of this song because she's so indulgent in it, and she takes every Aretha gospel liberty that you could ever take, and it delivers on all of that. What the hell is even going on? It's just so crazy to me. But I mean, really, I think if Anne Hathaway really wanted to lock in that Oscar, like even more than she did, if she had added "What the hell is going on" in her performance, I think we would have put that thing in a bow and sent it to her before the awards aired.
Yeah,
you know?
and had she done it direct to camera, like fully shattered that fourth wall. Yeah.
In fact, I would like everybody to add that to your big epic numbers. I think.
Yeah. Or to your 16-bar audition cut.
And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there ever was. What the hell is going on? Is ever gonna bring me down?
Exactly.
Put that at home, friends.
Yeah.
Throw that in wherever you can.
Attend the tale of Sweeney Todd. What the hell's going on?
Well, you gotta find out.
Exactly. That was the people next to me at Sweeney Todd who didn't know the show before they saw it, and hit them midway through Act 2. They were like, "Wait, did people just die?" I was like, yes,
Are
they did.
Killing people? Yeah.
Yeah,
What
they're
did you
turning them
think
into
you were saying?
food.
Well, they just think that Josh Groban's such a cuddle bug that they wanted to be there.
Exactly. It was his understudy that night. That was one of those great understudy performances from Nick Christopher. Ah, I love that. I think Aretha's Dream to Dream. I feel like that feels like one of those moments, like when Dorothy Loudon, when she was doing Broadway Baby, and she looked at Stephen Sondheim, and she was like, "Bet you didn't know what you had when you wrote this one." I feel like that's Aretha to the writers of Les Mis. Like, I feel like that's her singing Dream to Dream, looking right up and be like, "Bet you didn't know what you had when you wrote this one, because watch what I'm about to do with it."
Yeah. And you got to see, though, because one of them, she's got this, like, rich man's fruit girl, like, braided high ponytail on top of her head that cascades all the way down to the floor. She's decided to wear in a fur coat. Like, watch the videos of Aretha singing "I Dreamed a Dream" because
That's
really likes it.
That's a
She's
good
having
rabbit hole.
She's having a very good time with this song.
She
It's
loves
got
that
everything
song.
she needs to have
Yeah.
a good time.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, speaking of a great diva singing and having everything they need, I think we can't do this list without mentioning this particular album.
Oh my God!
I think this is one of this is another sort of like Carol Chang, another Broadway star covering some of their own personal standards, but trying to update them. We're going back to the disco era with Ethel Merman's disco album.
You bet we are.
I was like, this has to be on here. Talk about camp. Talk about ridiculous. If you don't know Ethel Merman's disco album, please go listen to the whole thing. I didn't even know which one to pick because they're all so magical, and also like the YouTube videos of her promoting it, doing her little side to side dance, because this is Ethel like solidly into her 70s, I want to say.
Oh, for sure.
And what I love is that she doesn't change a single note of the way she's been singing these songs her entire life. They just add a disco track underneath it. She doesn't
100%.
even try to sound like a pop star.
Wait,
and
so
that's
let's
what I
talk
think
about
is so
this now.
magical about this.
So do you believe that they literally took the recording line of her vocals, didn't even go to the studio for this, and just put the disco track underneath?
Yes.
Because that's what
I want to say she
was
sat
nowhere near a studio
with
for
her
this
music
album.
director with a piano, and she sang these songs as she had for the last 60 years, and then someone took them and put a track on them, and then she
100%.
went on late night talk shows and kind of sang them, and she was so happy to do it. So the whole album's magical. It's all show tunes. This one, though, I chose Some People. Because
great.
any song does not need... I mean, who's covering Some People from Gypsy?
Yeah.
Like Alexander's Ragtime Band, magical. Everything's Coming Up Roses, magical. The list goes on. But Some People is so weird.
Yeah.
To me, that was the most sort of out of left field choice, even among this entire left field. You know, I don't even know where to go.
Experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So, okay, let's just do a little bit of this.
Oh my gosh.
And then we can chat more. It's also like ominous, as if like something bad is about to happen, and it's true. It's like she's like the music equivalent of Jaws.
Of the Jabberwocky. Yeah. He's coming.
And that's her. She's like looking off to the side. Yeah. I just want to get to the... Oh my god. Okay. That is Ethel Merman singing disco. I know maybe not like the best cover, but like that album is just so weird, and I feel like it had to be, along with the Liza Losing My Mind. When I heard Broadway covers, I was like, oh, Ethel Merman disco.
You'll be glad to know that I absolutely did have a listen of the entire album upon research for this episode. And I noted that I think maybe the best track on the album is Alexander's Ragtime Band, but I think the most iconic track off the album would be There's No Business Like Show Business, because she's so associated with this. But this is the one.
Well, because this to me is the weirdest one. Like,
100%.
why this? This isn't even like a
100%.
standard.
I love that.
You know,
It's ominous. It's
yeah,
just
right.
ominous.
It's like I'm picturing there's the ocean. You're at the beach and like you see a shark fin coming at you. It's like da da da, and it pops up and it's actually Ethel Merman singing disco at you.
Like, oh
and
my
you're
God,
just like, ah.
I'm safe? Question mark.
That's when you're looking around for a shark. You're like, please.
Does anybody got a shark? Looking for a shark.
Got a shark on set?
Well, I'll tell you what Ethel Merman's doing, she's jumping it right about now with this album. She's jumping the shark.
Yeah.
She's junking the shark.
Oh my God. Oh, Ethel. Anyway, it had to be on the list, and
yes,
it was so campy, fun, and silly.
Well, you have set me up to swing my last one. I'm gonna shoot my last shot here. Thank you for including the disco. And my number one is, and I'm gonna stand behind this. It's perfect marriage of artist and song and genre, because we all associate maybe the greatest gay anthem of all time. If you were to ask the gay disco loving public, if we were like, what's your song, gay people? And they would say, I Will Survive. I Will Survive is our song. I Will Survive is our gay song that we all know. And so the woman who gave them I Will Survive says, well, do you like Broadway? And they're like, yes, we're gay. We like Broadway too. And she said, I got you. So my number one, and I think you mentioned this on the last episode.
I did,
Jess,
yeah.
And
No, not this one. No, a different cover.
Oh, right. Okay, because I was like, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't knock this one.
It's too good for words. So the number one cover of a show tune, because this was a hit, disco song, is Gloria Gaynor singing I Am What I Am for the gays in the discotheques.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Yeah.
Number one.
No, this is great. I think someone heard this and then did a different cover, though. Not so good.
Possible. Possible. Yeah. Oh, I don't think I even noticed those at the end. I am useful. I am true. I am somebody. Thank you, Gloria.
Yeah.
You put that song on at any gathering of the homosexual male, and they're going to dance, period, the end.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's too good. It's the marriage of it all is too good.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a fabulous number one.
Thank you.
Now I want to go listen to it again. I remember when I first discovered that, I was like, oh, what is this? I think when I was on an I Am What I Am rabbit hole with Shirley Bassey, Linda Eder, all of them, then I heard this one and I was like, whoa.
I know, because they
this
all do
is
it so
great.
well. Because it's such a great song. They all do it so well, but I think just because this one hit so hard to so many people. Yeah.
And one of those rare times where the disco cover worked.
Exactly.
Because we've had a couple disco covers in here, but this one is like, it sounds like a true disco song, and it is a
100%.
fabulous disco song. And she sings the absolute hell out of this.
Yeah. I don't think I ever really picked up on the I am useful. We got to hang up with people.
Meanwhile, I feel like so many gays listen to it, we're like, useful. They're like, I mean, I'm not that, but like, I'm a lot of other things. Okay, girl, maybe you're useful. I don't know about me. I can barely fold laundry.
Go get me another vodka soda.
Sorry, that really got me.
Okay.
My number one. Okay, before we do my number one, shall we real quick tell everyone where they can follow us again? Follow us on the socials, rate us, review us. I'm so good
we'll
at
do
send
it.
ups.
We'll read your review online. Give us some stars. Give us a review.
We'll give you an accent.
RE.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Theater
course,
count on X.
We all know that the most sincere expression of love to a hardworking podcast team is the gift of Patreonship and subscription. So if you'd like to treat us with that, we'll treat you back in kind.
Exactly. All right. So my number one is, this is not going to be a campy one. I'm going back to one that I genuinely love. I first heard this song when I was a kid. And I didn't realize this was a show tune for a really long time. I thought this was just like an original song by this artist. So this is Send in the Clowns, done by Judy Collins.
Oh, sure. Okay, great.
And my mom is a huge Judy Collins fan. And so I grew up listening to her all the time. I loved her voice. I absolutely love her voice. I think it's so soothing and beautiful. If you don't know Judy Collins, she's like a folk singer. She first started in the 60s, 70s, 80s. She's still performing today. She's 85 years old. She started with covers of like Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell and people like that. But weirdly, her first mega hit was Send in the Clowns. Yeah. Because she was a club performer in New York, and so she loved show tunes. And I just think it's so fascinating that I'm looking at it here. Collins' biggest success of her career was Stephen Sondheim's Send in the Clowns from her 10th studio album. The single was on the Billboard top 20 singles. That album ended up going platinum. She and Stephen Sondheim were both nominated for Grammys for Song of the Year. She was nominated for Best Pop Vocal Performance. Wow. Like, crazy that Send in the Clowns was one of the biggest pop songs of that year. It was 1975.
Wow.
And and she's, which it's so, if you haven't heard it, is so beautiful. And she really doesn't mess with it. She just does a straight up version of the song. Because she was also floats in the air voice. And she plays guitar, and she also is a classically trained pianist. So I think that's kind of why I think she didn't want to mess with it too much. But I just love that Send in the Clowns. And a zillion of people have covered this. Frank Sinatra, I think, also did a beautiful cover. But I love that hers was a Billboard topping, hit, Grammy-nominated hit. So, and honestly, for the longest time, I listened to this, I loved it. And years later, I was like, that's from a musical? Wow! So that's why this was my number one. I just think it's so beautiful, and talk about a pop hit, like you were saying.
I like that Sondheim was nominated for Song of the Year at the Grammys because of this.
Yeah,
that's really that's left center for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's let Judy sing us out, and we'll see you all next week with more counts down, more of the counting down that you so enjoy on our program.
Exactly, yes.
Yes, well, you'll come back, won't you?
Please do. Hopefully they keep coming back, because
yes. Well,
is that showbiz?
Because that is showbiz.
That is showbiz, kid.